Hello there, back with another old makeup favourites trip down memory lane. It was so lovely seeing how much you enjoyed the last episode, and I'm currently travelling and busy working on something new to let you in on more of my makeup archive / makeup museum soon. So this is a nice way to still bring you a weekly video and a nice dose of nostalgia. I also loved that quite a few of you pointed out in the comments of my last Makeup Favourites recap video that a video reflecting on old products felt refreshing amongst the endless cycle of new launches in the industry. I have always been conscious of that and only sprinkle new products into my content. It's never been a focus for my channel because realistically, so many of us still use and love products we've had for a million years, and those parts of our routines are worth celebrating just as much as something new. So that's what we're doing here. This time I'm reflecting on my 2020 Makeup Favourites video with 270,000 views. Okay, that was a big year for my channel. A lot of us were leaning into the comfort of online content at that time. So let's jump around and commentate on what I was using. Some Trini London-based products. You'll see these in upcoming present-day skin tint and lightweight foundation videos soon. Still a fan. I know I touched on my undying love of By Terry's Brightening CC Serum in Sunny Flash in the last Memory Lane ep. Loved reading how many of you are a fan of it too, but I was alerted to the fact that it was recently reformulated. Never what you want to hear when a formula is already perfect and did not need to be changed. One of my followers, Marissa, said she swatched the new version in Space NK and saw sparkle, which is not what we want. I'll try to do a comparison once the new formula arrives in Australia. I'm often asked about powder because it rarely features in my content and rarely features on my face, to be honest. As someone who loves a glow and has normal to dry skin, I'm lucky to not really need it, but when I do reach for it on special occasions or hot as hell Australian summer days, my favourite remains By Terry's Hyaluronic Hydra Powder range. This is the tinted loose powder. The translucent loose powder is great too, and I love the mini pressed powder for travel. Always enjoy looking back over a blush group. Oh, this was the year I discovered Danessa Myricks Vision Flush. I was obsessed. I actually haven't reached for it for a little while, just distracted by other formulas, but it is still so beautiful and highly regarded in my collection. A stunning, creamy multitasker, quite powerful, but shears out perfectly and feels so light and silky. Ballet Slippers is one of the best burnt rustic peaches to this day. I know some of you wished I'd talked about the M Cosmetics Colour Drop Serum Blushes in my last favourites recap, but here it is again. These glowy, dewy liquids instantly transport me back to 2019 and 2020. They were huge back then. They seem to still be available online, but the brand doesn't seem very active. Not sure what's going on there. 2020 was the year of Rare Beauty. It launched that year. I can't believe it's been around for that long now, and I can't believe how much of a stronghold these soft pinch liquid blushes have on the market. You might have heard in my recent best-selling beauty video that last year this formula made up 26% of all blush sales at Sephora. That is huge. Oh, 2020 Matilda had good taste, what can I say? These Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Lip and Cheek Glow Compacts are still one of the most underrated formulas in her entire range. A beautifully balmy, glowy blush in two gorgeous shades, a dusty rose and a deeper berry. They're great patted onto the lips for a bitten effect too, but last time I reached for one of mine wasn't smelling so good many years later, so it's on my list to repurchase. A piece of makeup history here, the Marc Jacobs Eye-Conic palette in Fantascene. Definitely deserves a spot in my makeup museum of products I don't necessarily reach for that often, but can't bear to part with. Working on a new format where you might be able to help me with some decluttering decisions. Stay tuned. Speaking of decluttering, I've gathered more than a few Charlotte Tilbury luxury palettes over the years, but I still love them. So many gorgeous combinations, but if I'm downsizing, I know Walk of No Shame will still make the cut, and I'd probably have a hard time parting with Copper Charge too. This was sadly discontinued, which always makes the urge to keep a product a little bit stronger. Some fun colour in this eyeliner section. The 1999 Beauty Precision Colour Pencils are one of my favourite multitaskers to this day. They do not get enough attention or praise in the industry. Incredibly smooth and creamy to draw onto your eyes, lips, even cheeks. I need to pop Rosy Neutra right back into my makeup bag because it is so versatile. Oh, this Danessa Myricks waterproof cushion colour in Pretty Pumpkin was such a fun pop of coral hot pink. I remember having a great time playing with much more striking graphic eyeliner looks at the time and using a tiny brush to keep it sneaky and slim. Admittedly, haven't reached for a neon liner for several years now, but I still love minimal, colourful moments. This was the year I first discovered Charlotte Tilbury's Pillow Talk Push-Up Lashes Mascara, and would you believe it, the berry brown version was just in my 2025 makeup favourites video. She's consistent, but that's how good it is. The volume and impact of this still blows me away years later. Do you think Chanel regrets discontinuing their Rouge Allure liquid powder formula? I'm sure Nina Park would quite like to have a word with them after blowing up the blotted lip landscape this year, because this would have been perfect for her trending technique. Maybe one of the first powdery, velvety, blurred lip formulas I ever tried. I was never into thick, paint-like, cakey liquid lipsticks. I just needed to find my kind of liquid lip, and this was it. A big gloss year. The year I fell for the Dior lip glow oils. Wow, this is still such a gorgeous formula, but it was just reformulated from what I've been seeing recently. Again, why must they do this to us? Did they need to change it? And change the shade range completely from the looks of it? Very interested to hear if you've tried the new version. Let me know. The Bobbi Brown Crushed Oil-Infused Glosses. One of the best glosses I've ever tried. Honestly, one of the most underrated glosses, that's for sure. It's so incredibly comfortable and balmy and light. Perfect cross between a lip oil and a gloss. I still have this shade Force of Nature somewhere. Need to sneak it back into my everyday makeup bag. Be right back. Two more tubes that definitely hold up years later. Lisa Eldridge's Gloss Embrace formula is a beauty. It's so nourishing and cushiony. Muse continues to be one of my favourites. This matches her beautiful Rosewood Velvet Muse matte lipstick. Then the Kosas Wet Lip Oil glosses are one of my favourite lightweight glosses that feel more like a thin lip oil but still feel juicy too. Admittedly, haven't repurchased this for a while. I'm still using up old tubes, so I'm not sure if the formula's changed in recent years, but I know the shade range has grown. Oh my god, here's a product I haven't thought about in years. I remember this Marc Jacobs Recover Hydrating Coconut Lip Oil. This was fantastic, thick and cushiony, more like a clear gloss than a true lip oil, but I loved the texture. Apparently Marc Jacobs Beauty is being resurrected. During the recent Marc Jacobs fashion show in February, they used Marc Jacobs Beauty, so I'll keep my eyes peeled for updates. How exciting. Thank you for joining me on another leisurely stroll down memory lane. I hope you had a cup of tea and some comfortable walking shoes on. Please share your 2020 makeup memories with me. I'd love to hear if you remember this video, if you remember any of these products. Take me back to your 2020 look. What a time. Very grateful to have had your company online that year, as I am today. I hope you enjoyed this recap. Let me know if you'd like me to keep sprinkling them in occasionally, more old makeup favorites, maybe old skincare favorites, or other video topics to react to. Let me know what you'd like me to revisit. Thanks for watching. See you next time.